Look, let's just get this Pulisic wankfest started. Go on, do your intro.
And welcome to another episode of the Christian Pulisic podcast, where we talk a little bit of Christian Pulisic and a whole lot of Christian Pulisic. My name is Christian Pulisic, also known as Christian Pulisic, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Christian Pulisic. Yeah, that's right, I brought it back, baby.
You brought it back, but at least this time he actually did something. I'm pretty sure last time it was just, I don't know, that he
started a game.
Played a minute.
2 assists last time, 3 goals this time, so, every time a little bit better.
Oh, so that's every time he does something, this is going to be the intro to the podcast, is it?
That is 100% correct. And joining us in the background is super producer Christian Pulisic.
Pleasure to be here after my perfect hat trick.
Yeah, always a good day. Always a nice day. Boys, number 1 in Israel. What up?
Who, Christian Pulisic or?
Miles offside.
Yeah, there are a lot of caveats to that. It's like for a few hours this week, we were the number 1 English-speaking soccer podcast in Israel.
Right. Well, I mean, what up, my Hebrews and Shebrews? Welcome.
Look, all I heard was number 1, and that's all I need to hear, baby.
That's all I need to hear. Don't care where it is.
Oh, and shout outs to our new listeners in California as well. We did develop a small pocket out there. They are growing, much like Virginia of last year. So Virginia, step it up. Tell your friends. What are you doing?
Come on, virgins.
California's the new Virginia. I've always said that.
And Virginia was the new Barbados before them, so...
Exactly.
Long may it continue.
Who's going to be next?
Yeah, Dave, we need one more Australian listener. Just force a relative to listen. So, to actually introduce us, though, we are the Miles Offside podcast. Joking aside. Well, not joking aside, because basically all we do is joke around, but we go through the Premier League, we talk about the fixtures, we do a little bit of FPL, and mostly we talk about food and socks and spreadsheets and other things that have nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
But we will get started, as we always do, with our rapid fire news. Michael Eberween has conceded a penalty while warming up. Per the BBC, footballers beware, there is no escaping VAR. Just ask Holstein Kiel midfielder Michael Eberween, who is a contender for the unluckiest substitute in sport. Eberween was warming up behind the goal during a German second division game against Bochum on Friday when he kicked a wayward shot back into play. However, VAR spotted that Eberween had touched the ball before it had crossed the line, prompting referee Timo Gurak to give a penalty and show him a yellow card.
Yellow card and give away a penalty without even being on the pitch.
It's a strong effort, isn't it?
We salute you, Michael, whatever your name is. Maybelline, I don't know.
Yep, and to make it worse for the guy, it's actually his only touch since arriving this summer from a different team.
Oh, brilliant. That's even better then.
Yeah, I think that might remain his only touch then.
I don't think he'll be making a name for himself or being a particular hero for the German second division club anytime soon after that.
This is the thing. You've got to be sticklers to the rules if, that's how the Germans like it.
Especially in Germany, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, don't give Germans the power of VAR, or every minor infraction will be punished severely.
Yeah, that's the lesson.
Yep, have you guys ever gotten in trouble for something that you only barely kind of did? Like the minorest infraction? And you were like, well, this seems harsh. Going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit.
No, I pretty much deserve all my punishments.
Yeah, all my speeding tickets have been well deserved.
Points make prizes, yo.
Stimmers is actually a drag racer. He was the inspiration for Fast and the Furious. He just never told us.
Mm-hmm. And that's just that he dresses as a woman whilst driving. It's not that he goes really fast or anything.
What I choose to do on the weekend is between me and the officer who pulled me over.
All right, well, to move it along, gentlemen... 2 Liverpool fans missed their side's Champions League win over Belgian side Genk on Wednesday because they traveled to Ghent by mistake. Rob from London and Lee from Leicester spent around £200 each on train and match tickets, only to mistakenly end up 95 miles from where the match was being played. When we arrived, we didn't see any Liverpool supporters, which kind of aroused our suspicions.
That's
You
brilliant.
Then we were sitting having dinner about an hour before kickoff, and we said to one of the waiters, who was a Ghent supporter, "We are playing you guys tonight," and he said, "No, you're not." And that was when we realized the error of our ways.
An hour before kickoff, they hadn't checked where the ground is. Either they're even more stupid than I thought, or that's some sort of fucking, oh, let's do this to see if we can get in the papers and get a free. Didn't they get some freebies from it as well?
They got to go to the Ghent Europa League match.
Oh, right.
Where they were invited to it?
Okay. Not from Liverpool then, from Ghent. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is just another reason why I don't want Liverpool to win the league.
These two specifically.
Fucking idiots. And from London and Leicester, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're usually 95 miles from the game.
Yeah. They had tickets. If I'm looking at the picture on the BBC article, they had tickets to the game. So I don't think they just did this as a publicity stunt. I think they're just that dumb. Which is about,
But hotel, like travel.
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
Well, they got travel just to the wrong
We didn't
place.
see any Liverpool fans. Oh well, don't check that.
Yeah, an hour before kickoff, they're having dinner. And they've just no one's thought. Should we Google where the stadium is in case it's more than an hour away? No, we'll just have dinner probably.
I mean, I'm looking at their faces right now, and that looks about right.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. They look very simple, let's say. I did a similar thing one time, but this was pre-smartphones.
Mm-hmm.
So in the States, you have to be 21 to be able to go to a casino, except for Native American casinos, because they kind of have they're not bound by federal law for, obvious reasons, like stuff that we don't really talk about, not so great. So there are a few Native American casinos that you can go to when you're 18. So of course, we turned 18, me and my friends, and we were like, okay, time to go to a Native American casino and try to play some poker at an actual casino and make some money. But this was pre smartphones and shit. So we printed out directions on Google Maps to a place that was 250 miles away because it was the closest one. And the directions said get on the New York State Thruway and drive for 100 miles. Except it didn't specify that about 50 miles into that, the New York State Thruway changes. So it's I-110 for a while, and then it switches to I-107. But it keeps the name New York State Thruway, so you're supposed to take a sharp left turn at Albany and then drive for another 100 miles from there. But we just stayed on 110, even though the name New York State Thruway changed. And so we and we just keep going, and the exit numbers make sense because the exit numbers are by mile. Uh-huh. And so we get to exit 107, and we're like, hey guys, we're here for the casino. And they're like, what fucking casino? It was a gas station guy. And so we pulled over, and he was like, I think you're 250 miles from there, because we made basically a right triangle and we were across the hypotenuse. And he was like, I don't know what, you guys are really far. And we were like, this fucking idiot gas station doesn't know that he's down the road from a casino. What a jackass. And then eventually we did realize it. And luckily I had an atlas in my back seat. So my friend was like, okay, we're going to take this mountain road to this mountain road to this mountain road, and we will be there by tomorrow morning. And hopefully we don't get lost and die in the mountains.
Yeah.
And by the time we made it, the other car of guys, because there was enough of us to go up in two cars, but we didn't drive with each other for whatever fucking, because 18-year-old boys, obviously. By the time we got to the casino, all three of the guys from the other car were broke. We're out of money for the weekend. They were like, turn around, go home, don't come in this place, it's a terrible place. They were just sitting, one of them had been to the ATM twice already.
Well, that sounds like a fucking disaster.
That was my first time at a casino.
And who says smartphones are a good thing?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, anyone who's ever used one, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have GPS being turn around, make a U-turn, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, at least you don't have that patronising voice.
Yeah, instead we just drove almost to Canada. We were on the fucking Canadian border. And we were like, oh no, something might be wrong. Why are we in Montreal?
Stop speaking French.
Yeah, so I relate to these guys going to the wrong city. Genk and Ghent do sound really similar, in fairness.
Don't soften it.
No,
They're
just
fucking
idiots. Just
No,
idiots.
don't try and justify it because of your own follies in the past.
Yeah, that was before smartphones and apparently common sense existed. So
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. The short list for the Ballon d'Or has been given out. Among the notable names are Virgil van Dijk, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Sadio Mane and Lionel Messi. 5 Manchester City players have made the 30-player shortlist. Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Sergio Aguero, as well as Tottenham's Hugo Lloris and Son Heung-min. Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, who have gotten the award 10 times between them, are among the contenders. Notable omissions include Neymar, he sucks, Paul Pogba, not having the best year, and Tottenham and England striker Harry Kane, who?
Well, and the guy who won it last year.
Who won it last year?
Luka Modric. Luka Modric isn't in the... I don't know if it's a short list or a long list or whatever, it's a list.
I like the way they go, notable omissions are people who shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah.
It's just some names you should know. But Eden Hazard's in there.
Yep, and so is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Eden Hazard, who should be listed as a Chelsea player because he's nominated for when he was at Chelsea, but he's listed as a Madrid, so technically Chelsea don't have any nominations this year, which is bullshit because Arsenal got one.
Yeah, but Aubameyang's been really good.
So has Hazard. He was our player when he was really good. He's been shit since going to Madrid.
So, but it's a year. So, like, within that year, he's been shit for ages or hasn't played. And he wasn't that good for Chelsea last year. I
mean, it was his most goals and assists in the blue shirt. So
he's no Pulisic, though, is he?
He's no Pulisic. We'll get to that. Last year, Luka Modric won it to end the 7-year dominance of Messi and Ronaldo. This year, Van Dijk is the favorite after being named UEFA Player of the Year in August. Do we think that it'll be Van Dijk again?
Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a particular favorite for it either. They did also announce the shortlist for the Keeper Award, but that one's really bullshit because Kepa made the list.
Oh, jeez. Right, okay.
Mike Hugo Lloris is nominated for, like, the actual Ballon d'Or. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Garbage. It's got to be because of... Wait. No, because it wouldn't include the World Cup, would it? That was last year.
I don't know what it includes. It says it's the 2019. I'm assuming it's for the 2018/19 season.
No, it's a calendar year.
But then why are they announcing it in October?
Because the award is given in January.
Whoever puts the most money in an envelope and under a hotel door will win it.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think it'll be... I think it's going to be the second year in a row for the first time since probably fucking forever that it's neither Ronaldo or Messi.
Well, good. It's about time.
All right, speaking of about time, let's move on from the rapid fire news to our regular fixture rundown. Let's start off with a very fun Friday Night Football. Who says it's not fun? We have Leicester 9, Southampton 0.
I don't think we've ever said that Friday Night Football was a bad thing. I don't think we've ever said that Leicester didn't look coherent in attack.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring that up.
I don't think we ever said that Danny Ings was a good FPL pick.
None of those things happened.
I didn't, for the record, say that Danny Ings was a good FPL pick. But
no one did.
Leicester, I mean, I guess, does anyone care about the XG or is it all about the 9-0 here? I feel like it's just about the 9-0. Obviously, no one's ever going to hit 9 on XG. Like, that's just not possible. But it was a severe paddling, if you will. It was 0.4 to Southampton and 3.3 plus a penalty to Leicester. So,
still only 3.3. Like, I've seen teams get 6 XG. Like...
By teams, do you mean Manchester City once?
And Barcelona, yeah. It was brilliant that the first goal, which was then, like, Chilwell scored, and then it was called back, and you thought, oh, maybe there's been a foul given. Oh, no, we're doubling down on that, and you're getting a red card as well. That was fucking amazing. Shout out to Big Mike Dean for awarding that.
So, I was sitting at an airport in New Jersey during this match, sort of following along on Twitter, but also, like, didn't want to kill my battery because I was at an airport. So you guys got to fill me in. Like, what the fuck happened here? It seems like the XG was really bad too, but I've seen a couple of 8-0s. Chelsea have put some 8-0s down, but I've never seen that I can remember a 9-0.
Yeah, well, we've had all the things and shouting about it, so it equals the Premier League record for biggest dicking, and that's the actual term for the award.
That is, yeah.
It is the biggest away win ever from a team. Something about hat-tricks. Iosi Perez's second hat-trick. His last one was for Newcastle against Southampton. Vardy gets a hat-trick. Like, it's all kinds of fucking things. It was just, once they got... The first goal went in, Bertrand got sent off. They just gave up. Like, they didn't care. They weren't chasing anything. Hassan Hutel made no real adjustments or substitution to counter the fact that he just lost his left back.
Nothing. That was unbelievable. Wait till half time, probably, and we're 5-0 down. That'll do it.
And even then, like, he didn't... Who did he bring on then?
Stevens.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then he brought on, like, a defender. But leave it, already 5-0 down. You let in 2 more goals back-to-back. Like, fuck me. And it was just... Every time was almost a carbon copy. Like, there were so many crosses going in where Leicester just run down to the byline, cut it back to the corner of the box, ball flies in. So, like, Tielemans and Chilwell were just doing that again and again and again.
Sounds like someone turned the difficulty down to easy on FIFA 09.
That's genuinely what it looked like.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is what it looked like.
And, like, they didn't want to just keep trying to score. Like, they figured out the formula to score goals, but, like, you don't want to just keep doing it the same way. Eventually, you're like, I wonder if we can score this way. Oh, we do. Okay, so we did that. Can we score this way? Yeah.
Yeah, certainly can.
Can we score from a cross? Yes. Can we score from running through the middle? Yes. Can we score from a free kick? Yes. Wonder if we can win a penalty and score that. Oh, yep.
Even the first goal was like that. I mean, Chilwell, after the game, said, yeah, no, that was meant to be a shot, but I ended up 1-2 in it somehow.
Yeah. and apparently at 6-0, Johnny Evans went round and went to the other players like, you know, the Premier League record is 9-0.
Yeah.
And they went, fuck it, let's go for it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Too bad it wasn't 10.
Yeah, it is. I mean, 3-0, they looked like they were starting to take their foot off the gas a bit, and Brendan Rodgers was having none of it. Like, he was properly shouting at them from the touchline.
In fairness, man, goal difference might decide 4th place. Like, it's tight.
I think we've always been like this, haven't we? In that there can be no mercy on that. Goal difference is worth the point. There can be no mercy on that whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm 100% behind it. But then, yeah, I like the way that at 6-0 there was that, reinvigoration again because Johnny Evans tells everyone about the record. Fucking
That's
brilliant.
hilarious. To quote Ronnie from the Jersey Shore, you're just beating a dead horse at this point, and if the horse is dead, you just gotta leave it alone.
Nah.
Nah, not if you're Brendan Rodgers. He will fuck the horse.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
I mean, that's the way he's always been as a manager, because when he had Liverpool before, not fucking horses, he hasn't always fucked horses.
Very avant-garde management style.
Yeah. So like when he was at Liverpool and they were pushing to try and win the league and had to make up all that goal difference, and they famously went 3-0 up against Palace and just kept going for more and more. This was very much like that, except they just kept scoring and kept scoring and kept scoring. Like, he gives no shits. Like, they've scored 2 more goals than Liverpool now. They've got a better goal difference. Like, absolutely flying.
And that does put Southampton into the relegation zone. And I think they should just get automatically relegated just for that one performance alone.
Instantly.
Is that also because they've now conceded 4 more goals than Watford?
Ooh, dear. That's damning.
Well, we've talked about Watford. They're both better in defense and better in attack than their numbers would indicate. So, all right, let's move on then. There was a couple of boring matches in the 10 a.m. slot. We had Watford 0, Bournemouth 0, neither of them generating more than 1.0 XG, so fuck off. And we had West Ham 1, Sheffield 1, a bit. I guess West Ham probably, by default, the anti-Burnley of the week, because they generated 2.3 and only scored 1. And then there was that bonkers match in this time slot. We had Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Everton 1, Brighton generating 0.4 plus a pen and an own goal, and Everton generating 0.8 plus an own goal. So the scoreline does actually work out despite neither of them generating almost any XG.
Almost any XG. Brilliant. Yeah, okay.
FPL players will be happy to see Dean on the score sheet, I guess.
Nope, wrong.
No, that doesn't go right for you, no?
No? Is that not how it works? That he scored, so he gets
Am I the
some
only one
points,
that has him? Because I was real annoyed at that.
You're an idiot. Why do you have a fucking Everton defender?
Incisive vision from Dean there to put that in. Beautiful.
I mean, we can talk about like the VAR thing, because that was, I don't know if you saw the ridiculousness of the penalty that was given to Brighton. Like, Michael Keane is looking up at the ball and walks along, and both players are moving towards where they can jump, and then he's staring up at the ball, steps on the other player's foot, and that's apparently a penalty.
But then is intent the only thing that matters in that situation?
Oh, now we're getting into a philosophical discussion, and I would argue that very much the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
Like, I might not mean to take someone down, but if I take someone down in the box and I didn't touch the ball and they could have taken a shot, like, that's a penalty, whether I knew it was happening or not.
I mean, I do think it's a tricky one, but yeah, I'm not sure intent matters. He did sort of impede the player, so...
Really? Foul's a foul, mate. Foul's a foul.
I seem to be in the minority, to be honest, like Oscar was last week, but...
I'm with you, Ian.
I think I err on the side of penalty.
Yeah, a foul's a foul. I don't... Fuck intent. Like, you take someone out, you take someone out.
Yeah, but he doesn't take someone out. He, like, accidentally steps on his foot as they're both moving towards the ball. Like, it's not...
I'm pretty sure you need your feet to play soccer, and he stopped him from using one of his feet.
No, because the ball's in the air, so all he needs is his head, isn't he?
Okay, sure. Ian, I don't think we're going to win this one, no matter how.
No. And to be honest, I don't want to get bogged down on it because Marco Silva's shit, and he'll probably get fired soon. Does anyone at this point still think he's a good manager?
Nope.
Because he's not been good at Hull, Watford... Like, Everton, he's averaged like one... I've done some research, right? This is why I want to stay on this, because I make wild claims a lot.
This is correct.
Yes. And last night, I decided to actually investigate my own wild claims. And I like it when I'm like, facts back me up. So,
oh, now stats matter, because Chuck is right.
Yes, that's what matters. So, Marco Silva's points per game, 1.44, right? Sam Allardyce's points per game, 1.42. So, this amazing Marco Silva, whose net spend since he's been in is £99.49 million, and we've all gone on about how much they spent, has got Everton an extra 0.02 points per game.
Better's better, mate. Better's better.
Is that 100 million better?
Better's better.
Better's better, full stop. What else? What else you got?
But I mean, when you spend that much money on players, like, they should actually be doing something, because, like, Jurgen Klopp in this time he's been there, he spent like about £500,000 more, and obviously Liverpool are now like
improved the team immeasurably. Yeah,
that's more money though. All I heard is more.
More is more.
All I'm hearing is better and more. So
okay. So how about this then, Oscar? Because whilst I got into a stats hole, I also started to look up net spends for like everywhere, because that's like the hot topic everyone goes on about with fucking transfers and stuff. And I kept going back, and because I went to like Klopp when Klopp started, that's like 2015-16, right?
Yeah.
So since 2015-16, Everton's net spend on transfers is 225.33 million.
Jesus, that's net spend.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
So that's net spend since then. Liverpool have spent 100.12 million as net spend.
Ooh.
That is damning.
So there you go. So now there's 125 million less. But
are Chelsea negative over that time frame?
Well, Oscar, I looked all this up, and I thought we could play a little game. So I have got the net spends of every team since 2015-16, and we're going to play back of the net spend.
Okay, all right. I like this a lot, actually. I'm, like, very excited.
So, here's the game, and everyone at home can play along. We're not going to, like, properly... We're going to just keep going through it. So, you guys have got to predict higher or lower for the net spend since 2015-16.
Okay,
right?
For the record, listeners, we had no idea that Chuck was doing this at all.
This is an unusual level of production. I'm very excited.
First time that I've heard anything about this, but I'm very excited because this sounds fun.
Yes, so here we go. So we're going to start with Everton. There's about 12 in here. I couldn't be bothered to do the whole, but I just thought I'd put some interesting ones in there. And if you want to comment on them, you can. If not, we'll just breeze through it. So play along at home.
Just a quick one. I'm definitely putting the play your cards right bed underneath this.
Okay, go for it.
Carry on.
Lovely stuff. Can we get done for that? No? That's fine.
If we just keep talking over it, no one's going to know the copyright infringement. It's fine.
Do we have to like critique it? So we're going to analyse the tune. I like what they did there with those notes. Yeah, there we go. Done.
Brilliant.
Anyway,
I have no fucking clue what you guys are talking about.
Don't worry, just copyright protection. It's fine. So anyway. We start with Everton. So, since 2015-16, Everton, 225.33 million net spend. We move on then. So, next is Arsenal, gents. So, have Arsenal, in that time, who all their fans moan they don't spend any money, have they spent higher or lower than Everton?
Oh, I feel you're trying to lead me down a garden path there.
I'm going higher, for sure. They've picked up a lot of very expensive players, and they've been overcharged by a lot of clubs for those players.
So, Oscar's going higher. Ian, you going higher as well?
No, for the sake of argument, I'll go lower.
Oh.
Who have they sold? Just Sanchez, right?
Oh, come on, mate. I haven't done that much prep. They didn't sell Sanchez. They traded him for Mkhitaryan.
Oh my god, that's right. So they have no big sales in that time. Ramsey went on a free.
Yep. So, Arsenal's net spend is 262.38 million in that time, so it is higher. That's 1 point to Oscar. West Ham. West Ham, is their net spend higher or lower than Arsenal?
Oh, that's tough.
They've bought a lot of strikers.
They have bought a lot of players, but I feel like they usually get a pretty good deal. But I'm trying to think of who they sold. They sold Dimitri Payet in that time.
It did.
He probably got them a whole lot of money.
I mean, I was not expecting this amount of in-depth. I like this.
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to say they made enough money off.
I'll also go lower.
Ian's going lower. That is a point each. West Ham have spent 152.84 million
that's a lot
in
lower.
that time.
Okay.
Bournemouth. Plucky little Bournemouth coming up.
Higher. I'm going to go higher just because it'll make for the most funny. And I think that's why you put them there in the quiz.
Maybe. So, Oscar says higher. Ian?
Can't think of... No, lower.
Oscar gets the point again.
Oh,
Oscar
for
is on
fuck's
fire.
sake.
3 from 3. Bournemouth have spent 23 million more than West Ham in that time. 175.34 net spend.
I thought you were going to try to ask us to guess the net spend and whoever was closer would get the point.
Oh no, that would just be dull.
That would be hilariously bad too, though, because I would be saying
I'm struggling with higher and lower.
I'd be saying like 900 million.
8 million. Next up, Wolves. Wolves recently promoted, second season in the Championship, in the Premiership. Sorry, is their net spend higher or lower than Bournemouth's in that time?
Higher.
Ian's going higher and he's going early. Oscar,
You said 190 for the last one?
175 for.
I'm going to go higher then. I'm also going to go higher.
Correct. Wolves have spent a net spend of £205.4 million in those 5 years. So
Oh, I would have been close on that one with the guessing the actual number.
50 million more than West Ham. Brighton and Hove
Lower.
Shit Albion.
Lower,
Are they
just
higher
lower.
or lower than
It's just
Wolves?
lower. It's just lower a lot.
Yeah, it must be lower, yeah.
It is higher.
No.
Not by a lot. It is by 1 million more. But Brighton have spent 206 million. 206 and a
On who?
half million. Oh, fuck knows. Isn't it that guy Jahanda Shak who never played in something other
No
than
idea
well,
what you're
that,
talking
yeah,
about.
I remember that broke their record or something, didn't it?
Indeed.
Literally, who on Brighton is worth any money at all? I'm pulling up their FPL page.
Don't bother. Fuck 'em. Aston Villa. Aston Villa come up this year. They've spent a lot of money again. They've kind of yo-yoed.
Nah,
Have they
lower.
spent more or less, higher or lower than Brighton?
Lower.
Lower. Both going lower? That is correct.
Yeah.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, they
not,
only have one season to have spent it.
not by a lot though. 174 million in that time.
Really?
Yep. So they
Wow.
spent more than West Ham, almost as much as Bournemouth. So pretty close. How about then? We now move on to the mock teams. What
Okay.
about Crystal Palace? Is it more, higher, or lower than Aston Villa?
Oh, definitely lower. You're always complaining about how you never sign anybody.
Yeah, I want to go different because I need to win, but I think I've got to go lower.
You are both correct.
Yeah.
Almost 100 million less in that time.
Wow.
Palace's net spend 75.45 million. That's quite a lot. Chelsea.
Lower. I bet we're negative. I'm thinking you're about to say we're negative because of all the money we've made. And like we sold Oscar to China, we sold Hazard to Madrid, we sold Courtois to Madrid, although spent almost all of that, if not more of that, on Kepa, which is to this date our most expensive signing. Fucking insane.
That is insane.
But we've sold a ton of really good players, really for a lot of money.
So you're saying less than Palace? You're saying Chelsea's
I'm
net
saying
spend?
I'm going so far as to say that if you say right now it's a negative number, I will not be surprised.
Ian?
Yeah, he's convinced me it's got to be lower.
That is correct. It annoys me how good you are at this game, Oscar. You are 7 from 8 at the minute. Chelsea have a net spend of 62.82 million in that time.
I thought it would be negative. All right, I'll take 62.
I mean, they've made about 150 million just this season.
Well, because we have everyone to sell, bro.
This is true.
That's the point of the loan army, is that we can sell every loan player for 20 million, 30 million, and
Yeah.
That's bloody impressive. I mean, side note, they're not in this, obviously, because it would be too easy, but Man City's is 601 million.
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
10 times.
600 fucking A. Is Man United number 2?
Yeah, 437 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got them.
Then
really
Liverpool,
far.
then Arsenal, then
No.
Wolves.
No. We'll get onto this in a sec. If you want to go further into this, we can. I mean, like, I've done so much.
Oh, I'm loving this. I fucking love this.
I can post this out. I can formulate. Oh, it's all on paper at the minute, but I can make a spreadsheet. So Chelsea, yes, 62.82 million net spend, so pretty damn good. Spurs from there, spend no money, do nothing, no transfers, 2 years of not signing any players.
170 to 225, somewhere in that range.
Ian,
It's got to be higher, yeah.
it is higher, but only 30 million more. So Spurs' net
Really?
spend is 95 million. Yes,
Wow.
they don't sign players.
Well, we're trying to build a stadium too, so like that's also part of it with us. And
Yeah.
they just built their stadium, so I guess they did have like 4 windows in a row where they didn't sign anyone. So I don't know why we thought it'd be so much higher.
Yeah, and then they spent about 70 million this window, so most of that is from this. Newcastle,
Higher.
Mike Ashley spends no money.
Higher.
Lower.
Ian, you're going lower.
Lower.
Oscar, you're going.
Higher.
It is higher. 121.9
Yeah.
million. Only just though. Again, it's the same for.
Doesn't count if you pay them in Sports Direct mugs.
Yes, there is 14 billion Sports Direct mugs in there as well, and like Snickers protein bars. So we've done. That's Newcastle. Yeah, 121.92 million, and you know they say Mike Ashley doesn't spend money. Mental.
Twice as much as Chelsea.
But exactly, yes. Final 2, Sheffield United. Again,
Lower.
recently promoted.
Lower than 120.
Saying lower than
Lower,
120. You are both correct. 37.68 million. So they've actually stuck to the promoted team. And you look at where they are in the league. They are 7th in the league. They've spent 38 million in that time.
Bloody
It's
hell.
amazing. They're actually the 18th highest spenders in that time out of the 20 teams in the Premier League. So pretty damn impressive. But then that gets us on to Southampton. Little Southampton. Is their net spend higher or lower than Sheffield United?
You're ending on this because their net
Yeah.
spend is negative, and I'm 100% convinced that that's what you're about to say. Because it's going to delight you. It's going to bring you such delight to say that they have a negative net spend.
Yeah, they're a Liverpool feeder team. Lower.
Exactly. All they do is sell to Liverpool.
They are lower, but it isn't negative. They spent 22 million in that time. So still a bit, but you know that's why they're 18th.
All right, give us the final scores. How'd I do?
Oscar, you got 11 out of 12, and Ian 8.
Oh, impressive, Oscar. Well played.
So that is pretty good. I can't remember what your only stumbling block was there, Oscar. I think it was Brighton to Villa, I believe. But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, if you want the
think. Actually,
rundown actually on Liverpool, as Liverpool came up, so we did say their net spend is 100 million at that time. That is the 13th in the Premier League. So the 13th highest net spend in the Premier League in that time. So fuck all, really.
Impressive, yeah.
And they've bought like Van Dijk and Alisson for like 135 million. So you actually have to give Liverpool some credit. And there you go.
Well, they
Liverpool
sold
fans.
Coutinho for about $250,000 million trillion.
Yeah, true. That put a big dent in, yeah.
Yes, that does help things. But then, you know, it's also what you use the cash for. Like,
Yeah.
I said, Everton.
That's basically a game of have you sold a player to Madrid or Barca?
yeah. It was a little bit of that.
Or are you Southampton? Shout out to Norwich, who have made nearly 30 million profit in that time, and they
Nice.
are the lowest. Yes. There you go.
Well, that might have something to do with that.
Yeah, that's why they're 19th. I mean, Watford 120 million. Nice job, guys.
Well, having gone 11 for 12 on that's put me in a thoroughly good mood, which means that it is time to move on to the thing that we're all actually here to discuss. Strap on in, because it is time for the Christian Pulisic Show! USA, USA.
Oh, go on, USA. I'll get involved.
Yeah. Come on.
Oh, it made me happy just to imagine your little face.
Bro, we were flipping out. So I should say the scoreline. Chelsea 4, Burnley 2. Chelsea scoring Burnley scoring 1.9, so almost exactly on for 2. And Chelsea with, cue the jingle.
Oh, they're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the week.
That's right, baby! Chelsea Burnley of the week, scoring 4 on 1.1. That's what happens when you have Christian Pulisic putting shots away.
Burnley get Burnleyed for the second week in a row.
I know, it makes me even happier that it was like us doing it to them.
We're going to have to keep an eye on this Burnley getting Burnley situation.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Burnley getting Burnleyed watch. We had been underperforming our XG, so that just kind of like, and I'm not like espousing the gambler's fallacy here, but that does happen. Like when you underperform, at some point you will also overperform, likely at least. So I'm not particularly like, I'm like, good. You know what? We fucking deserve to Burnley someone. Like I'm feeling good about that. But obviously the story, the one and only story, Christian Pulisic, after having an amazing run of sub appearances recently, including in the Champions League, finally getting a start. Scoring a hat-trick, one with the left foot, one with the right foot, one with the head. Chelsea's first perfect hat-trick since May of 2010 in that 8-0 win against Wigan, my favorite ever Chelsea game in the Premier League. And the first Chelsea match that Emily ever watched because we had just started dating at the time. Let's see, Chelsea's youngest ever hat-trick, beating Tammy by a couple of weeks after. Chuck is just walking away because he doesn't want to hear this. He's
gone.
just fucking gone. It's fine. He has a few minutes before he has to come back. I'm still going to be talking.
Yeah, no, that's why I knew I had time.
Yeah. Only the second ever hat-trick by an American in the Premier League.
It's still going, Chuck.
And
I mean, I do need to have a piss, so if you're gonna, can you just keep it going for a little while? Is that all right?
No, I'm out of all the examples. Oh, and it's Christian Pulisic's first ever career hat trick. So
I mean, it was his first ever goal for Chelsea.
First ever goal for Chelsea. That's right. Also,
and then his second ever goal, then his third ever goal. I mean, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. It does make me a little bit annoyed, just as a side note now, about how there's all these records and stats and what have you that once you start to add more than 2 kind of criteria, is getting a bit ridiculous. Almost like saying you're the best English-speaking football podcast in Israel. Like, it just seems like it's one step too far.
Prove that it's wrong, Chuck. Prove that it's wrong.
Yeah, Opta Joe did have about a 19-tweet thread on just Christian Pulisic. Like, between him and Paul Carr, my whole timeline was just like, Christian Pulisic is amazing for all of these reasons. Like,
it was a hell of a game for him. I mean, Lampard's management of him seems to have just been bang on, doesn't it?
yeah, it's what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. I was like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes or if it's just Lampard doing a Mourinho when Mourinho was still good. It seems to be the latter. He properly lit a fire under Pulisic's ass and then set him, like a rocket out onto the pitch. And every time he's been hungry, he's like, oh, that was a good sub appearance, but he's got to keep his head on his shoulders. And now finally he put the leash off him and he let him go. And he went nuts.
There was some narrative as well this week that he was going to be pushing for a loan because
in
he
January.
wasn't really getting the minutes. Yeah,
that's
and
right.
So there you go. But you look at Lampard, like his situation is he's got so many players now, and this is what's fantastic is he's held him back just enough to make him so hungry and want to do everything, and the same with everyone, because it's a big balancing act at the minute, right? Because there's so many players that are like, this is my chance now to not only get a chance in the Premier League, but also get a chance at a big club like Chelsea. You've got Pulisic, you've got Mason Mount, you've got Tammy Abraham, you've got Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek will be the same, Tomori is in there. Like, there's so many
Tomori, who
players.
has been our best defender easily this season so far.
And it's such a hard balancing act because you've got to keep them fresh enough that you don't get the burnout, but also that they want to play, and it really does look like that. And the fact that you can have, these young players now for the second time in a season getting a hat trick, and again, as I've mentioned last week, you look at their FPL breakdowns. It's always like if there's 4 goals, there's 6-7 different names there, like they're all getting involved and all contributing, and it's amazing. Like, it really is bloody impressive. And if Lampard can keep this up, I mean, they, relatively speaking, the fixture list hasn't been too intense yet, and so we see now at the minute through this stretch, like, can they survive with like the Europa League and the league? With the Champions.
How dare you, sir?
Sorry, that was like last season, wasn't it? That was, yeah. with the Champions League and the League Cup and these other commitments of then seeing how that gets managed. But absolutely fair play to him. And, I was very happy for you, Oscar, when I saw Pulisic getting all those goals. Genuinely made me do a little smile.
And some minor concerns from people saying, like, oh, is he going to take Callum Hudson-Odoi's spot now? Because that is who he started in place of. I would only cite that Callum, who's only recently healthy, had played 90 full minutes, or maybe not full 90, but like had started in matches on Sunday and on Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, I forget which day we played because it was a weird week with traveling this week with me. So like that makes sense to me. And he did, when he brought Callum on, he brought him on for Willian, not for Pulisic, which you would think like someone's on a hat trick, you pull them out early and let them get their standing ovation. But I think he wanted to see Callum and Pulisic on the pitch at the same time for a significant amount of minutes. Yeah,
and it's good for them to actually get, Pulisic to get a 90. Like rather than constantly having those substitute appearances.
But yeah, right about the goals being spread out, the assists being spread out. Both Tammy and Mount, who people are starting to, I think, back off of a bit on FPL, still both got assists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're chugging along, And it was genuinely just like fucking fantastic. I do love that we Burnley. Like that's just a cherry on top of everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not much to say there. Same formation, same players. Pulisic was the only notable difference. And he had himself a fucking amazing day.
And it's the same old having to get to 4-0 because you're going to concede a couple. So it's just smart that you're sticking to that as a game plan, that if you outscore the team, it's fine.
Yep, we're going to win every match 4-2, baby. That's how we're going to do it. 7 wins on the trot now. That's feeling pretty fucking good.
I think, Pulisic aside, like your Chelsea's range of attack was really impressive. Like you really stretched Burnley lengthwise and widthwise. Sometimes you were narrow and direct. Sometimes you spread it out, and they didn't seem to know what you were going to do. Sometimes the foot was put on the ball and slowed down, and then bang, couple of passes and it was out. And it was really sort of you really mixed it up attack-wise, and Burnley didn't really know what to do with you, and you created a lot of space like that. And Pulisic really took advantage of that.
Burnley didn't get all the luck. Like there were a couple of very big chances that should have been put away that was quite early on, I think.
Yeah, but they scored 2 on 1.9, so...
Yeah, but what I mean is that the two should have come earlier, which then obviously changes the scope of the game. Like getting 2... when you're already 4-0 down, it feels good, and they potentially could have gone to 4-3 actually very soon after their second goal, and that would have been like very big squeaky bum time for Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
But if they get those goals much earlier in the match, it changes the whole narrative. But that doesn't matter because it didn't happen. What I also wanted to say, because obviously we don't really talk about it a lot, but. You say Chelsea had 7 wins on the bounce, and some of those have been like, one of them was Grimsby. But in the week, like you beat Ajax 1-0
at Ajax
at their stadium, like that was absolutely fantastic. Like Ajax were on their game as well. It wasn't like a fluke result. Like you did really, really well, and to beat them when they've just got to like the Champions League semi-final the year before is fantastic. So. It's good things. It's good.
Yeah, the pressing content. Yeah, like you said, we don't really talk about the Champions League that much, but I think Frank did a really good job of just maintaining and containing for an hour with solid pressing and like actually a solid defensive performance for once, not conceding insane chances, and then bringing on Pulisic and Mishi, who totally changed the match. Mm-hmm. Like Mishi fucking should have scored 3 like in that time. Like for us to have only 1-1-0 was a bit lucky, I guess, in some regard. Whatever. They came on, the two of them, created a ton of chances, changed the game. It was good. All right, well, let's take a quick break there. I think we still have plenty of soccer to talk about when we come back, so we'll...
Emery in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump the gun there.
Maybe we'll push listener stuff to next week. That way we can really take our time with these last few matches, so we'll take a break here. But stick around, and after the jump, we'll talk about all the Sunday matches.
Welcome back to the Emery In podcast, where we talk about Emery staying in and never going out. We've just had some fixtures, and boy oh boy was this a roller coaster of emotion. Hated my life after 10 minutes, and all came back. VAR fuck what I said earlier. VAR's an amazing thing. I love VAR. Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2. I mean, that's obviously a disappointment for me. I think we should have...
Palace for 4th, baby. I'm telling you.
That's just, you're insane. Like, I don't know if my heart can take it anymore, but going 2-0 down to Arsenal inside 9 minutes, when like Socrates and David Luiz scored the goals against you is pretty damning. I mean, both off pretty soft corners that weren't cleared properly. And especially when you're playing against like Aubameyang, Pepe, Lacazette, you think they're probably going to be the ones to score. But managed to keep them quiet, and suck it, Adam. Kind of the VAR highlight here was Wilfried Zaha getting a yellow card for diving, and then that being overturned, rescinded, and Palace being awarded a penalty. That was pretty lovely all in one go.
Num.
Yeah, yeah. Because, everyone says Wilfried Zaha dives. Pretty sure he's now the only player then that... I mean, not only has he never been booked for simulation, he's also had a booking taken off of him for non-simulation.
Do you know something else you love to see?
Yeah, go on.
David Luiz scoring on Chuck's team?
No.
I do.
You can't resist getting a little dig in there. That's a shame. That's a shame. Things you love to see are the democratically elected captain of Arsenal getting substituted, and the fans booing him gesturing towards them, and then taking his shirt off and going straight down the tunnel in a massive fucking hissy fit.
I believe it doesn't take the greatest lip reader to see that he probably went, fuck you as well.
Yeah. What do we say? I mean, democracy doesn't work.
Democracy doesn't work. Brexit, Trump, Xhaka, like they're all up there.
American Idol.
Oh, really? Some bad decisions made there?
Yeah, like sure, why not? Let's pile that all in there as well. Strictly.
Is that your guys' version of
Dancing with the
Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Dancing with the Stars, man. My mom watches that shit. I used to come home from class late at night, and she'd be like, I made you some spaghetti, and I'd sit down and watch Dancing with the Stars with her. It's good memories on that show. It's a good time. It's a fun time. Let me tell you, if you've never seen it, watch it with your wife. There's some good costumes for the female dancers.
Anyway, to top it all off, Arsenal get a very late goal, again from Socrates. So their attackers are shit. It's ridiculous. Their defenders are better at attacking. They should be the ones to switch round. Should be Aubameyang in defence. Literally can't be worse than Luiz and Mustafi and all that bollocks. But then that gets chalked off by VAR as well. Yay!
VAR was your friend.
Very much, my friend. Apart from when Guendouzi literally rugby tackled Zaha at the end, which was in like the 95th minute or whatever, and he could have gone like one-on-one in goal against the goalkeeper. But take it. If you'd have said a draw before the game, probably wouldn't have been happy with that.
Really?
Yeah, because it's Arsenal, man. Like, they suck. Like, I actually felt positive for once, and this is why, like, when we went 2-0 down in 9 minutes, it was very wounding.
Yeah, so the game did finish 2-2. It was 1.4 to Arsenal and 1.2 plus that pen to Palace. So a pretty fair result, actually. And that makes the third or fourth week in a row that Palace have played to their performance.
Consistent.
Right?
Played to their performance.
Which I think makes you, in a certain sense, the anti-Burnley. Because it's kind of more anti-Burnley to beat your numbers than it is to... underperform your numbers.
Don't try and simplify it. You've got the Burnley of the week. You've got the Watford of the week. That's just how it works, Oscar. Right?
I just think we need to start giving out a Palace of the week, which is the team that exactly performs their numbers.
If I have to edit in many more jingles, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I am Mr. Bo Jingle.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. The anti-Burnley of the week jingle backwards. That fucking destroyed me.
You enjoyed that, did you?
So funny.
Oh, good.
I didn't think you were actually going to do it. I just threw that comment away in real time, and you clearly just paused my audio, stuck that in, and it was fucking gold. I was so proud of you. I've never been prouder of you as super producer than in that moment.
Good. I had to put it on a bit of tape and then turn it round and put it through the reel-to-reel machine backwards. It was a real effort. It really was. I don't think there's any technology that can just reverse a clip.
No, I don't think so, but I'm very wary that we'll get done for satanic messages now, so please don't play this podcast backwards.
I've been encoding secret things in there the whole time.
I've just been trying to slip in some C-bombs and hope that Ian hasn't noticed with the bleep machine. I've got a few through, so that's good.
Yeah, there have been a couple that went through.
Yeah.
Speaking of letting a couple go through, we have Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1.
Well, I suppose actually, I mean, we could kind of talk about these in the same regard because you say about letting a few through, but both the Spurs and the Norwich goalkeepers were absolutely sensational. Gazzaniga made 12 saves in that game.
Gazzaniga got 3 bonus points despite conceding 2 goals.
And being on the losing team. Yeah, and Tim Krul conceded 3, saved 2 penalties and got 8 saves and got 3 bonus points in FPL.
Wow.
It's not very often
Okay.
the 2 highest scoring goalkeepers are on the wrong end of a fixture.
So pick one. Which one do you want to go through first? Let's go through... I think we should go through United Norwich first, because then we can save Liverpool Spurs for the last one.
Yeah, why didn't Norwich win? What happened?
Because Spurs were definitively the better team.
Man United.
Kaylee had them on 3.2 plus 2 penalties.
Yeah, but they saved the 2 penalties.
Well, fine, but then even with those 2 penalties given and then saved, it's still 3.2 to 1.0, so that's exactly right. Understat, which I think includes penalties, but then values shots from an angle less. I forget the actual
Things, words.
science underneath it, but they have them at 4.5 to 0.9.
Oof.
So 3-1, a very, very, very deserved win for Man United. I did say that their attack would get better when Rashford and Martial came back. I didn't think it would get this much better. And sure, they're not going to play Norwich every week, but
Yeah, it will get better when you play Norwich.
But 2 weeks ago against Norwich, I would have had them down for a 0-0 draw. I would have said, well, they have no one that can score. They'll just contain Norwich and it'll end 0-0. This is a comfortable 3-1. That wasn't possible without the 2 of them. Even if it was Norwich or Newcastle or whoever.
Oh, I don't want... No. Man United is supposed to take shit. They're up in 7th now somehow.
Yeah, if we're not careful, United and Leicester are going to pull away and we're going to have an actual race for 4th.
This isn't right. You started a hashtag, now you've given me some vague form of hope, and now Man United are becoming good again. Solskjaer's meant to be getting fired. There's meant to be all kinds of shit going... Actually, no. Solskjaer's meant to stay. Sorry. He should stay and be shit. And Man United, it's Norwich. It means nothing. We really cannot take any information from this.
I'm inclined to agree. I think Norwich look like they really flat to deceive in their opening few games, didn't they? So I think you're right. I think FPL wise, it's getting to the point where you might captain anyone who's playing Norwich. Although you could do that against Newcastle, Villa. There's a few at the minute, but not Norwich especially. It just looks like
and
anyone
I'm
who's playing.
pretty sure a few weeks ago I said that Norwich looked the best promoted side. So if that's not the kiss of death...
Well, and I said that Leicester's attack was not incisive. So
there we go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in that run when they didn't have either of the strikers, they went and drew Southampton 1-1. They went and lost to West Ham 2-0, and they went and lost to Newcastle 1-0. So between those 3 fixtures, they scored 1 goal against Southampton, Newcastle, and West Ham. So I do think that that's a significant upgrade for them, having those guys back. I think that's genuine cause for concern if you're an Arsenal or a Spurs fan, for example.
Definitely. They wouldn't be the only sort of team up in the top 6-7 teams in the Premier League who rely on 1 or 2 attacking players to carry them. So
Yeah, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't just rely on 1 or 2 players.
I mean, talking about the net spend, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, not with the amount they've spent, absolutely, but that's the look you're looking at. So
yeah, but even so, if they could still get 4th and then try to actually get better next year, that's what we're doing, right? We're just trying to survive in this crazy world. Turns out we're the 3rd best team in England, but
fucking hell,
mostly by default. We're not that good.
Default.
All right, well, let's move on to the actual probably best team or one of the best teams in England. Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1. Liverpool scoring 2 on 2.2, and Tottenham Hotspurs scoring 1 on 1.4. So a pretty fair result, all things told.
Yeah, well, I mean, 12 saves. You ride your luck in that one, especially after going behind, after 47 seconds?
Yeah.
Van Dijk, potential Ballon d'Or winner, just leaving Harry Kane in the box, ball watching. Yeah, that wasn't the best start for Liverpool, but they fought back. I mean, there was a lot of chances for both sides. I mean, obviously, we've highlighted the exploits of the Spurs goalkeeper, but Spurs were missing a lot of chances as well that were just there for the taking, and this match could have just gone anyway. It was fantastic to watch, though.
It was really, really fun. Sissoko, you knew right away when Sissoko went on a mazy run through the heart of Liverpool and then kind of passed it off to Son, who took a mostly harmless shot that then rebounded to Harry Kane, who was maybe offside, but turns out not actually. Like, it was a ridiculous goal, and immediately I was like, oh, okay, this is where we're at today. This will be fun. And it was. Liverpool basically buried Tottenham for the rest of the first half. Chance after chance after chance after chance. They were just pegged down.
Yeah, but I mean, especially after Tottenham's like recent run of form, like a loss is still a loss, right? But it's to only go down 2-1 to Liverpool. Like, it's not the worst result in the world against a team that are just vastly superior. I mean, they both had good weeks in the Champions League. Like, Tottenham beats, I'm going to say Red Star Belgrade. I'm not going to say Zvezda every time. But they beat them 5-0. Liverpool beat Genk, not Ghent. Genk. 4-1 as well. So they both had like some high scoring results, and Tottenham, I don't know, I think there was actually some positives to take out of that for Tottenham, even with a loss. Like, sometimes you need that to galvanise you. Like, we've seen how these sides can, have one big marquee win, see Norwich versus Man City, and then afterwards just have it destroy them. And the opposite can be true as well. Like, have a bit of a tough loss, and then afterwards maybe take the chance to kick on. To quote Michael Cayley on Twitter, when I say moral, you say victory. Moral. So, if you're a Spurs fan, have fun with that moral victory. I bet that feels just as good as the 3 points. Yeah. And don't worry, you'll get an actual victory next week when you play Everton, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. Liverpool continue to lead the league, 6 points ahead. The 538 guys have them at 53% to win it, 44% for City, and that 2% still chugging along for Chelsea, baby.
Which it's mad. It's mad though, because you can kind of see, like, if that match had finished 1-1, like, it was late, the penalty, right? It was quite late on in the game, and then if that finishes a draw, Liverpool's lead is 4 points.
Yeah, and then I'd imagine City are the favourites. But it is such small margins, like it really is, between those two teams, because they're so much better than everyone else.
Well, it is just the fact that it's the exact same as how last season ended. That, I mean, apart from like the 2 fluke results against Man City for Wolves and Norwich, like, these teams just keep winning, they kind of perform the same way each week. So it is just, I mean, is this still gearing up for a Gerrard slip?
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. Who's the Gerrard on this team that does the slip? Is it Henderson? Is he the spiritual successor?
It's probably Henderson, isn't it?
Henderson, yeah. He's going to be like the big fan favourite captain.
Yeah.
Or is it sleeper agent Dejan Lovren, takes out Van Dijk, breaks his leg, and then a goal scores?
And then still claims on Twitter afterwards that he's the best defender in the world.
But, I mean, we've only got a couple of weeks until Liverpool play City, and that's just massive. I mean, that's going to... if Man City win that, if it's still 6 points and Man City win that, it's down to 3, and then exactly what you've been saying, I think, Chuck, all along, like, if Man City win those 2 fixtures against Liverpool, then it just becomes...
Yeah, but on the flip side, if Liverpool win that match...
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, that's very dangerous territory of, like, running away with it.
That game, it's 10th of November, that game is just massive. Absolutely huge. It's the last game of that game week, and it's I can't wait for that one. I really can't wait.
Yeah, and it's before like the international break.
It is, well, yeah. So whoever loses is going to have to stew on it for 2 weeks. It's just
big things,
beautiful,
big things. Well, speaking of the league, we didn't do it last week, but it's time for the Predictor League.
Yeah,
we got predictions, something gonna explain it for all of those that haven't listened that often, because we've had a nice spike in listeners, especially you, Israel and California. So the Predictor League is a game that we started before the season, way back in the heady days of August, when the sun was shining and the birds were singing. Where basically everyone entered with how they predicted the league would finish. And then what we do is we take the standard differences of where the teams are now to what you predicted, total those all up, and pop it in a little league. I've got a spreadsheet and shit.
Oh, I got a little spreadsheet.
Oh, I got a little spreadsheet. Yeah, I've done an Excel. And Oscar keeps on being like this because he's doing well this season after getting absolutely destroyed and notably beaten by a child last year.
Is that child ahead of anyone this year?
Yeah, that child's ahead of me and Ian.
Okay.
Right now, me and Ian are 8th and 9th, respectively, in the league.
That's not too bad, actually.
No, it's not too bad, but Finley's 7th.
Okay.
Finley, Ian's son.
Yeah, my son. 9-year-old. Yeah.
9.
Beating you two.
Hey, getting beaten by a 9-year-old, that's not as bad as getting beaten by an 8-year-old last year, Oscar.
Over the course of the whole season as well.
He's older, he's wiser, he's learned so much.
Yeah.
I mean, Oscar is actually tied with Finley. There's 4 to 7th is a 4-way tie at the minute with Oscar, his wife, Ian, the spawn of Ian, and Dave Mateo. But then in 3rd place we have Momo FPL. 2nd place we have Joe Bloom, and in 1st place Van Dam Samby. Sam Danby.
Sam
Samby, but it is all very close. And propping up the league is Jack Saunders on 90.
Ooh.
Higher scores are worse, guys. Sam Danby's on 62. But obviously, with how crazy and congested this league is, like it does just change all the time.
And the winner gets a £50 voucher for the club shop of their choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a Harry's Razor when we eventually get sponsored by Harry's Razors.
Which is imminent in Israel, surely.
Of course, and a start up your own webpage when we are sponsored by Squarespace as well.
Yeah, exactly.
25% off, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you put in the voucher code. And anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves and give away free advertising, guys.
No.
Because we're big in Israel now.
What next? FPL?
FPL team.
FPL.
Yeah, so we've been crowdsourcing a podcast FPL team where we've been putting out the transfers. We've been putting out polls on Twitter about what transfers we should do, what captaincy we should do. How do we do this week? I haven't checked.
How did we do? Oh, I hadn't checked, actually. I don't think we did very well.
I think it was pretty standard, wasn't it?
42.
Oh, okay, that's...
And that's pre-bonus. I don't know if we got any bonus today. Who do we have from today?
No, bonus is all in now. We had nothing. We had Aubameyang, we had Mane, we had Alexander-Arnold really playing today, and Pookie.
Captain De Bruyne, not the worst choice.
No, that's pretty good, I suppose. The average was 50. I think it's going to come out at 50, so that's, not great.
Oh, God.
Not great.
Oh,
that is not good for my team.
Oh, is it not? Yeah.
No, I got 31 with a plus or minus 4.
Our three teams have really got a bit closer to each other now. Have you checked the...
been a bad couple of weeks.
Yeah. Upsetting you, is it? Yeah, chasing you down.
Chuck's beating both of you right now. Suck it.
I don't know. After the table updates, I might be in last place. It's going to be like 5 points between the three of us.
We are mid-table shit munchers.
Anyway, that's just personal business. Let's go back to the pod team. We've got to suggest some transfers for our listeners to vote on. We've got 2 free transfers. We've got 0.1 in the bank. Chuck, have you got any suggestions?
Yes. So 2 free transfers, as you said, because last week we made some suggestions that weren't exactly the most inspiring choices.
They weren't. No.
And I think it was only like at the last minute when I was putting the poll out, I kind of thought none of us really want to do any of these, so I added in the no transfer option, and funnily enough, everyone went for it.
Yeah, which we should do every week if we've got the option to roll it. That was a good shout.
I mean,
definitely.
We could do no transfer this week, but that's
but
just
then we'd
a waste.
lose one. I can't bear to burn a transfer.
Hey, you think I can? Fucking Mr. Minus 4
exactly,
every
Mr.
week?
Points. Yeah.
Is it 4 or 5 weeks in a row now you've taken points hits?
6, and that's after having played my wild card.
Jesus, that might be why I'm catching up to you now.
I love a -4. And what's the point of this if it's not fun?
Well, beating me apparently was the point, but that's all gone out the window.
Okay,
now.
all right.
But any road,
Oh,
there
there we
are
go.
lots of things that are shit in our team, and I'm not too happy with. But I'm going for big changes up top. I'm going bandwagons here because Aubameyang, he's 11 million. He has scored 1 goal in 4 games. I don't care who they're playing next. I don't give a shit. He's gone. Out.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Aubameyang gone. Pew. Pookie right next to him. He's gone.
Oh shit, we're gonna suggest the same things again. Go on.
I'm gonna go for. Wait, are you gonna go for Jimenez and Vardy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Unbelievable. Genuinely, that's what I wrote down. Aubameyang out, Pookie out, Jimenez and Vardy
So
in.
just make that 2 of the options on the poll.
and hope the right one gets voted for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was... Okay, well, look, that's got to be one. And Oscar, you presumably are looking for a way to get Hudson-Odoi in.
Well, no, because you fuckers won't go for that 2 weeks in a row. So,
right, when you say
instead,
you fuckers, are you talking to the listeners?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
And
Lovely.
you
Carry
guys
on.
also won't. Just ignore them and do it. So instead, I'll try to hop on the hot player of the week. We are instead going to Christian Pulisic. So we're doing Tomori out and Madison out. Madison, who for the record got points, but alarmingly not involved in most of a 9-0.
Yeah, fair point.
Like, really, really barely involved.
Yeah, he got a lot of passes to the assist and stuff like that, but I think it was just because he wasn't one of the wide players.
He doesn't even show up in the top 10 of bonus point system between both teams. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at... Hold on, sorry.
That's why. That's why. You looked at Everton. It's the wrong game. He still plays in blue, but not that team.
He was 5th for bonus points on Everton, on the bonus point system.
For Leicester.
For Leicester, yes. Whatever fucking team he plays for. God damn it. One of the blue
Yeah, but
ones.
hang on. So he scored one goal in a 9-0 and was still 5th for bonus points. That's... Anyway, all right.
Whatever. Madison out, barely involved, 9 goals, got me worried.
Right, Madison out.
Yeah, don't like him. And we got to get Pulisic in. You know he's going to jump in price. He's been on fire and pushing for a start. He finally gets a start. He scores a hat-trick. He's not going anywhere in the lineup. And when the kid is playing, he is a goal and assist machine. And Tomori, I still think we're wasting our third Tomori, so I'm going to go Tomori to Target, free up some funds, and Target's been red hot, and he's still only 4.4, and Madison to Pulisic.
Do we have any worries about keeping Otamendi?
All right, well, I tell you what, I had a backup suggestion anyway, because I figured that this would happen. So I'm going to do a really uninspired and one that evidently people aren't going to vote for. I'm going Pookie and Otamendi out, because I'm sick of the sight of both of them.
That's fair enough.
And I'm going to get, I'm going to take, because this is all about fun, right? I'm getting Mendy in.
Hey.
Mendy, he's a lot of fun. I like him. And I'm going Danny Ings again, because lol.
Yes.
Nah, go for one of the good ones. That way people might actually vote for you. Put Jimenez in. You've been banging on about him for weeks.
Yeah, but I don't think we can afford that.
There is maths involved with this fucking game.
Yeah, can't afford that.
So Mendy is 0.5 more than Otamendi, and then we still get some money in the bank. I don't know, someone can work it out if we go to Ings. And
well, you're the king of money in the bank. I mean, how much have you got in your personal FPL team at the minute?
Like 9.7 million.
I mean, you know that doesn't earn interest.
Oh, is that not? I thought it was like goal difference that if you still had money in the bank, like
it might be. I don't know how far down they go before they get to a coin toss.
That would be good actually if you could like spend some of that money to get you extra points. But I mean, I've just had like a decent game week and only had like 90 million spent on my team. So
that's insane.
Now the problem is that because I can do literally any move I want, I'm too spoiled for choice. And so
gone mad with power.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just leave it, just burn the transfer and just keep it in there. Hopefully get some compound interest.
Imagine the luxury, the decadence of having 9 million in the bank and just going, fuck it, who needs the transfer?
Yeah, like 9 million in the bank and still beating you two.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 3.2 and I thought I had a lot.
I love it. So there we go. Those are our suggestions. We got Pookie and the dehumidifier to Jimenez and Vardy. Otamendi and Pookie to actual Mendy, not Otamendi, and Danny Ings and Billy Madison and Tomori Never Dies to that American bloke and Target.
That American bloke.
Yeah, you've said his name enough fucking times. Pulisic.
Since we are on the topic of fantasy, I do want to give a shout out to Dave, who played against the Miles Offside team in the Fantrax League this week and posted the single highest score that anyone has posted all year long. He got 396 points.
Jeez.
To my 286. 300 is like a solidly good week. Like if I put down 300 and I don't win, I'd be very surprised. I put down 286, so like that's kind of okay. Yeah. But his 396.5 is absurd, getting notably 94 points from Ben Chilwell. Single-handedly. Ben Chilwell, who I traded to him like 6 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
Nice job, Captain Hindsight.
Yeah.
A secondary shout out as well to Dave Matteo, because last week on a goof, he said on Twitter that someone should captain Lundstrom. I said I'd do it if he would. He doesn't have Lundstrom. I captained Lundstrom, and he was my only player to get a return. So thanks, Dave. There you go, your little shout out. So, next week's fixtures.
Yeah.
No Friday night game week game, unfortunately, and we all love those. They're always really good fun and really entertaining. Won't hear a bad word said against them.
Never.
So, Saturday, 2nd of November, we start with Bournemouth, Man United, Arsenal, Wolves, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Brighton, Norwich, Man City, Southampton, Sheffield United, Burnley, West Ham, Newcastle, Watford, Chelsea. Dicking. Then on the Sunday, we have Crystal Palace, Leicester, and Everton, Spurs.
I fear Watford finally doing their numbers.
Oh, God, that would be hilarious if that happens. After Watford being literally the worst team in the world. I wonder what their form is like across all 92 teams in like the football league.
It's horrible. It's really bad. I do fear them. I do fear this.
Really?
Our win streak has to end, right? I thought Burnley were going to Burnley us.
The pessimism on this podcast sometimes is irritating.
I've just been burned so many times. I'm afraid to love, Ian. I'm afraid to love.
Well, you need to fix yourself. Go into therapy and spank Watford 5-0. Come on.
No amount of therapy will make me not be afraid of Chelsea breaking my heart.
And they are still going to concede 2 goals, whatever happens.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's true. We just need to win 4-2. If we can win 4-2 every week, then I'll be happy.
Then you're performing your numbers. That's it. Consistency.
I will say the thought of seeing Callum and Pulisic in the same lineup is like right back to Boner Town.
Spectacular.
Taking the train straight to Boner Town.
City Southampton, I don't know if I picked that for biggest dicking of the season, but I may have, like, genuinely.
Oh, really?
You mean you didn't pick Leicester Southampton?
Yeah.
You guys are amateurs. I'm going to win predictions again this year.
Yeah.
Had that picked out early doors, didn't you, Chuck?
Oh, yeah, of course. Nailed on.
Palace Leicester, the battle for 4th.
Yeah. I mean, you say about pessimism, but I'm not that worried about this game, even though they've just come off the back of a 9-0.
I can understand that. I think this could be a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, especially, I mean, it's going to all fuck up now, but the last 2 seasons, we've beaten Leicester 4 times. And the aggregate score is like 14-1.
Yeah.
I said I'd work it out last week, and I actually bloody did.
So a 13-0 for Leicester? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
To balance that out.
To beat their own away record that happens.
Yeah, right. Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, could be some probably be some goals in there, knowing what Brendan Rodgers is like, but we also like regaining leads, and especially regaining leads against Brendan Rodgers' team. So
Jordan Ayew keeps scoring.
He does keep scoring. I like him.
He's good.
Yeah. I mean, someone has to score for us, for fuck's sake.
Someone definitely does.
10 goals, 10 games.
I just think on a very basic level, both teams tend to play with a decent amount of width, so there's a lot of space involved, and I just think it could be a really good game. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I also have that circled for like one of the more fun ones of the weekend.
Yeah, so there you go. 0-0 is nailed on.
Everton Spurs, I care zero about. I think City Southampton is going to just really fucking run away from them.
No, that would be like 1-2-0 as well. Like City have just, I don't know.
Aguero's due for an explosion.
One thing is for certain. We do know that Burnley are going to get Burnley by Sheffield.
Oh, I want the third. Yeah, I want the third Burnley in.
We can get a 3-peat on that, and that would just be delightful.
And Sheffield have got it in them to massively overperform. We've seen that before.
Yeah. Although I'm going to go Everton for Burnley of the week, because that just for the hilariousness.
Against, yeah, okay, I can see
Against
where you're
Spurs.
going there. Yeah, against Spurs, last game of the week. Spurs sit there and just think, oh, we've got a lovely time against Everton. Nope. Yeah, and then everything I said about Marco Silva is null and void. Just kidding. I hate the guy and he's shit. Thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure, as always, to record with you gents. I've done some admin this week.
Impressive.
It's been lovely.
Level of research, a game. Insane. What went on?
And I just want to take this opportunity once more to just give Oscar the chance to just another 4 seconds on Pulisic.
Oh, say can you see?
Thank you
Pulisic,
very much,
Pulisic,
ladies and gentlemen.
Pulisic,
Take care.
Pulisic.
Bye.